Hey guys and gals, it's Tripl-L, and now it's time to talk Attack on Titan, Season 2, Episode 2, or as is officially known, Episode 27, I'm Home. Okay, so this episode, let's just get right down into it. It's a pretty simple episode, mostly because it took one character and we just spent the majority of the episode exclusively on that one character, that character being Sasha. So this was her episode. This was her episode to do something cool, and thankfully it was her episode to not get killed while she was doing something cool. So pretty much the episode's very simple because a lot of Sasha's scenes end up taking a lot of time, and the scenes aren't particularly important when you look at what's being, what the scene's trying to portray. It's more portraying the atmosphere this time around instead of portraying any actual plot going forward, with the characterization of Sasha sprinkled inside of the scenes. So it ends up just being a very atmospheric, very simple episode, and it's still just a setup episode for the climax of this arc, which is the mysterious titans that showed up inside of the wall, and the episode does further that mystery like a step forward. But again, the mystery itself doesn't go that far because we only got one scene that's specifically talking about the overarching plot here. So let's talk the top moments and get out of here. So the first top moment I really want to talk about is Sasha's flashback. This is a really important thing. We don't know the character, and the flashback just kind of paints what she was doing before she got into the recruits, why she is the way she is. And the thing is, Sasha is a character who the author realized was very popular, and due to that popularity, changed his plans for her. I'm pretty sure that came up in an interview at one point. Characters like Sasha effectively got to live longer because people really liked her. And so when you go into this flashback, for me personally, and now this is where a lot of people can disagree and I don't really mind, but for me personally, that flashback and just the focus that was given to Sasha here felt really disjointed. It felt really awkward. Even when I read it in the manga the first time, to me it felt really awkward. And this is an instance where a character's what's the word, a character's main characteristic, main trait is just blown up out of proportion, and it just seems kind of odd. Sasha was defined, there we go, character defining trait. Her character defining trait was just blown up out of proportion because Sasha was defined as this character that really liked food. Like, we all remember her eating everything back when she was a recruit, and that was her trait. It was her being a hungry belly, her just being hungry. Then you go into this flashback, and the flashback is consistent with that idea, but then you see her and it just looks awkward. It looks very awkward. Like, again, she is a hungry girl, she appreciates her food, but when you have a character there and she is technically well versed in hunting, she is of that part of the territory, she is of that experience. Seeing her act like that, the way she did it with her father, talking about how she's hungry and that's why she's eating that, when the father is talking about preserving that food, for a character that is supposed to have lived through the seasons, winter, summer and all that, she understands the basic law of the land. And her acting out like that and being kind of feral. And when I say feral, I mean the way she acts is kind of like an animal. Once she has the food and she hampers around the tree. She looks out by the tree and she's just reduced her surface area, how much area she's taking up in space. That's a very animalistic thing to do. And she comes off way more feral than you would expect someone who has experience in that part of the territory. She comes off just... it's odd. Things just don't... it's kind of unsettling just seeing it as well, even though truthfully the father does have a point that, this is just, we have to help each other out. But her methodology coming back, that's why I'm hungry, she is acting very animalistic. Now the thing is, the author does try to make a case that this is just part of her character development. It's just, I think this is an issue that comes up from seeing a character is really popular because of one thing and then just continue trying to sell the one thing that she's really popular for. But for that particular scene, it's just very unsettling. But again, it's all for the sake of character development and to show us where she came from. That's her reality, and we see who she is now, and that is ultimately what the episode is about as well, because we get the father's kind of his acceptance of her, or him telling her that he's proud of her by the end of the episode. So it's an episode that sets up Sasha, shows her at her worst, and then shows her at her best. But again, that's just my personal opinion on it. Overall, it's not a big deal. It's just one of those interesting little quirks that pops up when stories might change due to the demand. Now, the next moment we want to talk about was the moment that Sasha finds a Titan and it's eating that lady while the child is just there, traumatized. You know, that's a very unsettling sequence. It's unsettling because the Titan is almost normal sized, so it makes like him gnawing on her just kind of Then the lady's just like, she's resigned to her fate, watching her daughter, and her daughter just like listening, just kind of out of the world, and you can tell she's in shock. The poor girl's in shock. When Sasha takes her out of there, the girl's in shock. Now, that scene is all kinds of unsettling just because of how long we had to see that lady just like with her face, just not even in pain, just, I don't know, accepting her fate. It was pretty unfortunate. You know, again, it was a very atmospheric episode. The episode did really well when it came to selling that just general air of ominous. But man, poor lady. And that poor girl who just decided to sit there and not watch but listen. Now, in that moment, of course, again, the big standout thing is the atmosphere, is just how unsettling that scene is. And then, of course, Sasha does go and she tries to help. And, you know, that was worthwhile. That was really worthwhile. I really enjoyed seeing that. But, of course, we know Sasha fails and she has to get out of there and minimize damages by taking the girl. Overall, again, that's probably what... Truthfully, that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the episode just because it inspires so many unsettling feelings. Okay, next, moving on. This moment just happens kind of in the middle of the episode. It's not regarding Sasha, it's actually regarding Eren and the priest. I wasn't going to put it up here, but then I realized like, it's actually pretty important when you consider that we just came off of a break that was years long. So it was Eren freaking out at the priest, and the real importance of this moment is just for Eren to get involved in the issue that the priest is presenting. He is withholding information that could help humanity, and we're just seeing that Eren doesn't like that. It's really important to reintroduce us to who Eren is as a character. He's very justice driven, he's very survival driven. So seeing Eren freak out there, it's really just to establish that this character is still what he's kind of thinking, what he thinks about the situation. And because Eren is such a big player, anything that revolves around conspiracies involving Titans, Eren has to be involved by the virtue that he is a conspiracy in of himself. Because, you know, he can turn into a Titan. But yeah, overall, important for the character, important for viewers to get reminded, yeah, this is what Eren is about. Moving on, the next moment that I'm going to talk about, this is probably the most epic moment in the episode, was Sasha versus the Titan, where she's shooting off all the arrows, and then she finally just opts for sticking the last arrow in his face. Now, I really like this moment. One reason also because of the callback that they had into Sasha's flashback. The move that she does where she like hits the Titan in the lower jaw to raise his head. That was the move that she did earlier in the episode, I think, against her father. We had seen the move somewhere else, so it's excellent callback to that, like very excellent. And also the music in that sequence was just amazing. I love that music track. I was trying to see if I could separate it from the rest of the episode. It might be playing in the episode it might be playing in the video right now, but the music was just, wow, awesome. That was so cool. Overall, everything for that scene really worked out because Sasha pointed out that the blood had made it easier for her to slip away. She did pretty well. Everything was used. Everything was used properly. The bow and arrow she picked up, the setup from the flashback, the moves she can do, and the damage she had done, all of it worked together, and it climaxed in Sasha getting away from that Titan. How can you... man, that's pretty awesome. When a normal person can go up against a Titan and like realistically survive, how could you not appreciate that, right? So overall, very epic moment in the episode. I really enjoyed it. I think it was very nicely done. And after that, Sasha goes and she finds her father, and we get to see all of that. And then finally, the last moment is the moment that kind of just furthers the plot, the mystery of what's going on with the Titans who are inside the wall right now. And we go to Connie's village. The whole place is destroyed, so poor Connie, he just lost everyone he knows, and he just found a Titan crushed his house. But so the interesting thing with that Titan is that it doesn't have leg strength to move. Its limbs are very shriveled, and now that's causing the question of how did this Titan get here if it can't move? And you know, again, the Titans are very unsettling. This one's just like big eyes looking at everyone. It's just ugh. But that's the question. How did that happen? How did this Titan show up in this particular area? So, you know we have the Beast Titan running around, or Gorilla Titan, or, you know, Beast Jesus. And they're tossing, you know, he can toss things. Like, he could toss Titans into houses. That could be how he got them in there. But, yeah, we don't know. It's going to be pretty interesting because this might change up what people are thinking. And if people start thinking, like, there's no way for this Titan to walk in here. But we see that it's crushing the house. And it looks like it's crushed it from above, falling in. So I would think from that way that it's just, it fell into the house. But we'll really have to see what the next episode brings up. This is a new element to the mystery, and I am very excited to see how quickly they can figure out what's going on with the Titans. And I do want to see Connie's reaction to thinking, my mom is underneath that Titan. The poor boy, man, just lost his whole town. But now we know it definitely ravaged his town in particular. So, guys, pretty short video, but that's it for me. Overall, like I said, it's a very simple episode when you break it down, because a lot of the time is spent accentuating the atmosphere and accentuating the despair. And of course, there's some moments thrown in there for humor, like Sasha is a very humorous character. The horse running away from her, very humorous. Her flashback is kind of funny in some weird ways. But yeah, guys, let me know what you thought of the episode. Let me know what you think is going to happen. And yeah, let's end it there. So, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a really, really good day.